Hello students, I hope you have completed the first 10 problems of exercise 6a. Let us continue question number 11. Three positive numbers are in the ratio 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. Find the numbers if the sum of their squares is 244. Let us consider the ratio as 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. As the ratios are not of the equal denominator, take the LCM of the denominator 2, 3 and 4. That value will be equal to 12. Find out the equivalent fractions for the given ratio to make the denominators same. Then the ratio will be equal to 6 is to 4 is to 3. Whenever any part has to be or any quantity has to be distributed among the ratio, you are very much familiar to do the calculation. So proceed in the same way that what you have learnt in your earlier classes. Let the positive number be, the first positive number be 6x, that is the part of the first. Then the second would be equal to 4x and the third one will be 3x. In this problem, the condition is given as among the three share, that is how the number is divided into three parts, sum of their squares. So sum of their squares means we have to consider the square of each number and then find its sum. So sum of the first number is 6x whole square, second number is 4x whole square and third number is 3x whole square. Sum of their squares. So as it is given as sum, I need to add all the three values. That is equal to 6x whole square plus 4x whole square plus 3x whole square. The sum is equal to 244. Find out the value of 6x, 4x and 3x whole square, that is 36x square, 16x square and 9x square. That sum leads to 61x square. The value of x will be equal to plus or minus 2. As it is mentioned in the question as positive numbers, neglect the negative value minus 2 and consider only the positive value x is equal to 2. If x is 2, then 6x will be equal to 12, 4x will be equal to 8 and 3x will be equal to 6. Therefore, the numbers, the three positive numbers are 12, 8 and 6. Question number 12. Divide 20 into two parts such that 3 times the square of one part exceeds the other part by 10. Already in question number 6, we have learnt how to divide the part given into two parts. Let us proceed with the same way. If the first part is x, then the second part will be 20 minus x. Just recall the example what I had explained in question number 6, that if you have 10 chocolates and if you give a share of chocolates to your friend, then what would be your share? Your share will be 10 minus x. Same way, the first part is x, then the second part will be 20 minus x. Go to the next slide. According to the given condition. So what is the given condition here? The condition given here is 3 times the square of one part. 3 times the square of one part, that is the first part. So if it is the x is the first part, its square is x square. 3 times the square is 3x square. So exceeds the other part by 10. That means to say, what is the other part? The other part is 20 minus x. Exceeds means the value will be increased. So according to the given condition, 3x square, 3 times the square of one part, this is equal to the other part plus 10, that is 20 minus x plus 10. So find out the quadratic equation, simplify, then the value of x will be equal to 3. First part is 3, then the second part will be 20 minus x, that is 17. Question number 13. Three consecutive natural numbers are such that the square of the middle number exceeds the difference of the squares of the other by 60. And in the textbook it is given that assume the middle number to be x and form a quadratic equation satisfying the above statement, hence find the three numbers. Go through the textbook once for this condition. As it is stated in the question to consider the middle number as x and then to solve this particular problem, if it is not given in the question also, when we are calculating the sum of natural numbers of three consecutive numbers, it is suggested to assume the three numbers as x minus 1, x and x plus 1. Let us understand this concept very clearly with the next slide. So this slide is given for your reference to understand the concept, and please do not copy this in your classwork. See, the three consecutive natural numbers can also be named as x, x plus 1 and x plus 2. That procedure is also the correct one. But in this problem it is mentioned to consider the middle number as x. If it is not mentioned also, it is suggested to consider the three consecutive natural numbers as x minus 1, x and x plus 1. Reason is only the one to get the solution in a simplified manner. What is this x minus 1, x and x plus 1? Let us consider an example. If the natural number, if I take an example as 10, its preceding will be equal to 10 minus 1, that is 9, and its succeeding will be equal to 10 plus 1, 11. So I can say that three consecutive natural numbers are 9, 10 and 11. In the earlier problems, we made the assumption of the first number, and then based on the first number, the second number was defined. Here, assumption is done for the middle number, and with the help of the middle number, the preceding and succeeding terms are defined. So here, the three consecutive natural numbers are x minus 1, x and x plus 1. Now, move to the question. Read the condition once again. Three consecutive natural numbers are such that square of the middle number. So in the assumption, x is the middle number, square of the middle number means x square. The second sentence says exceeds the difference of the squares of the other two by 60. So this x square value is greater than by 60 when you take the and that 60 should be added to the difference of the squares of the other two. Children, we are very much familiar with finding out the difference. Whenever we have to find the difference, in common we prefer the the greatest number first and then the smallest. We need to use our common sense here. Among the remaining two, one is x minus 1, another one is x plus 1. As it is said as they are all positive numbers, x minus 1 is the least and x plus 1 is the greatest. So when you are considering the difference of the squares of the other two, while representing the difference, take the greatest number first and then the smallest one. So how to write the difference of the squares of the other two? That is x plus 1 whole square minus x minus 1 whole square. So we have defined separately the condition. Now let us write it in the form of a statement. Square of the middle number, that is x square, is equal to difference of the squares of the other two, x plus 1 whole square minus of x minus 1 whole square. So this value will exceed by 60, that means plus 60. So go through this slide very much clearly, try to understand each and every point and then go to the solution. Move to next slide, copy down this in your classwork. according to the given condition, same condition is written in the form of an equation. Simplify it by applying an identity, form a quadratic equation, then value of x will be equal to 10 or minus 6. As in earlier, as it is given as natural numbers, neglect the negative, consider only the positive, then the three consecutive natural numbers are 9, 10 and 11. Question number 14. Out of three consecutive positive integers, the middle number is p. If 3 times the square of the largest is greater than the sum of the squares of the other two by 67, calculate the value of p. In this problem, what we need to assume is clearly given in the question. There are three consecutive positive integers. It is clearly mentioned in the question to consider the middle number as p. If there are three consecutive numbers, if the middle one is p, then the preceding will be p minus 1 and the succeeding will be p plus 1. Move to the next slide. Even this slide is given for your reference to understand the question, and do not copy this in your classwork. Let us consider the three consecutive natural numbers as p minus 1, p and p plus 1. In the question it is said that 3 times the square of the largest. 3 times the square of the largest. Among the three values, which is the largest? That is p plus 1. What would be the square of the largest? P plus 1 whole square. 3 times the square of the largest means 3 into p plus 1 whole square. Keep this in your mind. This value is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two by 67. Sum of the squares of the other two. Which are the other two numbers? P minus 1 and p. What would be its squares? Square of the other two numbers would be p minus 1 whole square and p square. So sum of the squares of the other two, that can be represented as p square plus p minus 1 whole square. In this problem, we are considering the sum. It doesn't matter if you write p minus 1 whole square first and then the p square next. It doesn't vary because sum will not vary as like in the difference. So let us write the condition along with an equation. 3 times the square of the largest, 3 into p plus 1 whole square is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two numbers, that is p square plus p minus 1 whole square. This value is exceeded, or this value is greater than the other value by 67. Whenever we get a number like more than, greater than, increased, exceeds, we represent that value by using plus sign. So according to the given condition, write down this slide as a solution in your classwork. Forming an equation is your task, children. Simplification you have learnt in class 7, 8, 9 and also in class 10. In the previous chapter, 5th chapter, we have learned how to simplify an equation and how to simplify the quadratic equation. Framing an equation is the task in this particular chapter. Read the question carefully. Understand the meaning of each and every one. Try to represent the given quantity by the unknown variable. Find out its relationship. Try to represent them by using an equation by using plus or minus sign. Then correlate the variables. Then you will get an equation. So here the question was calculate the value of p. So directly write the answer p is equal to 5. We need not write any more conclusion. Question number 15. A can do a piece of work in X days and B can do the same work in X plus 16 days. If both working together can do it in 15 days, calculate X. So this problem is related to the time and work problem. So before we start to find out the solution of this particular problem, Let us move to the next slide to understand the general concept and the terms and conditions which you need to follow while solving the time and work problem. Look at the first example. Mr. A can complete the work in 15 days. That is the statement. Mr. A, he can complete the given work in 15 days. In this example, work is not mentioned and the number of days that he took to complete the work is given as 15 days. Whenever we write the days to work, the conversion, that means to say when the days are converted to the work, we take its reciprocal. That is the logic and the trick behind the time and work problem. See, you can understand this with simple concept also. So if A can complete the given work in 15 days, then what portion of work that he has completed in one day, that is nothing but 1/15. In the same way, consider the second example. In one day, Mr. Z can complete 1/30th of the work. Then what would be the number of days required by Mr. Z to complete the work? Here, what portion of work is completed in one day is given. Then how many days are required to complete the work should be calculated. That is conversion from work to days. In this case also, we take the reciprocal of the given values. So Mr. Z has completed the 1/30th of the work in one day. So the number of days required for him to complete the whole work will be equal to 30 days. So in these two examples, read it again carefully. This is the logic or the trick behind the time and work problem. So if we are calculating the work completed in one day, we take the reciprocal of the total number of days. So if the work completed in one day is given, then we are going to consider the total number of days required as its reciprocal. Let us move to this question. In this question, it is said that A can do the piece of work in X days. So then what will be the portion of the work that A can complete in one day? That is, mention it as 1/x. Similarly, it is given that B can do the same work in X plus 16 days. Then what is the number of days, what is the part of the work that B can complete in one day? That is 1/x plus 16. Here what we did, so we have written the number of days to the work completed, what portion of work is completed in one day by Mr. A and B respectively. So condition is given that if both A and B can complete the work in 15 days. So if they work togetherly, they can complete the work in 15 days. Then what portion of the work, if A and B, if they work togetherly, they can complete in one day? That is again 1/15. So 15 days are required to complete the work by A and B togetherly. If A and B, if they work togetherly, what portion of the work is completed in one day? That is 1/15. So that is the condition we need to represent in the form of an equation. 1/x, that is portion of the work completed by A in one day, plus, why we are making plus? It is given that both the workers will work together. That's why we are making it plus. 1/x plus 16, that is part of the work completed by B for one day. So A's one day work and B's one day work will lead to the 1/15. That is 1/15 is the portion of the work completed by A and B in one day if they work togetherly. So it seems to be a little bit different. So when we solve these type of problems, similar problems, still you will get the clarity how to represent this. In the next step, take the LCM on the left hand side. As usual, cross multiplication, simplify the equation, form a quadratic equation, and hence solve it. Value of x will be equal to 24. The question is very much direct to find x, so x is equal to 24. Question number 16. One pipe can fill a cistern in 3 hours less than the other. The two pipes together can fill the cistern in 6 hours 40 minutes. Find the time that each pipe will take to fill the cistern. Instead of person, here we have a pipe to complete the work. Cistern or a water tank means the same. Let us consider the first pipe can fill the cistern x hours, that is time. It is clearly mentioned that the other pipe will consume 3 hours less than the first pipe, or any one. If one is x, the other one is x minus 3. So write down that second pipe will fill the cistern x minus 3 hours. If both the pipe can fill it in 6 hours 40 minutes, represent it in a equational form, that is 640 by 60, because 1 minute is equal to 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Simplified part will be equal to 20 by 3 hours. Now before we go to the next slide, recall how to write now. The part, or in 1 hour how much the first pipe can fill the tank, that is 1 by x. In 1 hour, how much the second pipe can fill the tank or the cistern, that is 1 by x minus 3. So if both the pipes, if they start filling the tank, what portion of the tank is filled in 1 hour, that is 3 by 20 hours. So all the values we take its reciprocal, where we are converting from time to the work. X is time, x minus 3 hours is time, and 20 by 3 is time. Now I am converting all the 3 to the work. Move to the next slide. According to the given condition, 1 by x, that is the part of the cistern filled by the tap x in 1 hour, plus 1 by x minus 3, the part of the cistern filled by the second tap in 1 hour, that is equal to the part of the tank filled by both the taps togetherly in 1 hour is equal to 3 by 20. Simplify the equation, form a quadratic equation. X will be equal to 15 or 4 by 3. Neglect 4 by 3, consider x as 15, then x minus 3 will be equal to 12. So the first pipe can take 15 hours to fill, and the second pipe can take 12 hours to fill the cistern or the tank separately. Question number 17. A positive number is divided into 2 parts such that the sum of the squares of the 2 parts is 20. The square of the larger part is 8 times the smaller part. Taking x as the smaller part of the 2 parts, find the number. Here we have a number. So that number is divided into 2 parts. One part as smaller one, the other one is larger. As it is clearly given in the question that we need to consider the smaller part as x, we have to proceed in the same way. Let the smaller part be x and the larger part be y. Look at the first condition. Sum of the squares of the 2 parts. Move to the next slide. Sum of the squares of the 2 parts. The 2 parts are x and y. Its square is x square and y square. Sum of its square is x square plus y square. That is equal to 20. Mark it as result number 1. The second condition is square of the larger part is 8 times the smaller part. Larger part is y. Square of the larger part is y square. Smaller part is x. 8 times the smaller part is 8x. So second condition is y square is equal to 8x. Mark it as result number 2. Substitute the result 2 in result 1 to obtain a quadratic equation. Then simplify the equation to find out the values of x and y. So x is equal to 2, that is the smaller part, and y is equal to 4, that is the larger part. The question, in the beginning of the question, it is said that there is a number. That number is divided into two parts. Now we know which are those two parts. One part is 2, the other part is 4. So what is the number? The number is x plus y, that is 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. By this, we have completed all the 17 problems of exercise 6A. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.